Okay. Let me make sure this is muted. There it is. Hello, welcome to Minions of the Zoo. As you may or may not have noticed, I am not Hammer. Hammer is unfortunately back in the hospital. So it's just me, Jen, and the recurring bike thief, as always. So
Wow.
We do appreciate you helping us out, though, Tier.
yeah, of
Well,
course.
thank you.
Hammer keeps breaking contracts somehow, and I'm like, well, I mean, at least he doesn't sound like he's on death door this time.
Yeah.
But, so how are you doing, Jen?
I'm overall I'm okay. Yeah, as long as I don't, spend too much time in politics land, and I
Oh, fuck yes. That's terrible. Don't do that.
and I avoid Twitter, which I know a lot of stuff happens on Twitter, and I admit it. I confess I missed some of the Elmo stuff, which was sad.
Yes,
But
I saw a bit about that, but I didn't catch all the details. But how about you, Tia? How are you going?
Well, Monday, my house got broken into.
Oh, it's fun.
Yeah. Well, technically, I'm gonna look on the bright side. They didn't take anything that couldn't be easily replaced. Mostly,
Well,
what they
that's good.
took was the food in my refrigerator, some of my perishable stuff that I probably had to use eventually, and like silverware. They took my pots and my pans and like whatever.
maybe
They pretty much cleaned my kitchen. they pretty much no. No. Like they pretty much cleaned shit I needed to get rid of anyway. But I was too fucking lazy to do.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit like a homeless person.
Jen, we already have one member of the team dying. You're not allowed to die too.
Yeah, so it probably was just one of the junky crackheads and whatnot. So
I'm
I just
glad that no one's going to break into this place. I'm pretty safe from that, so that's good.
Yeah.
Like, it's never a good feeling to be robbed, but at least it was somebody who was just looking for food for the most part.
Well, yeah. they took they left all the valuable shit. They took a package. So I had resin art, like resin supplies, because I do resin art from like 2023 that I haven't used in a sealed Amazon package. They took that. I'm like, go right ahead. It's probably bad now. So you don't know what the fuck it's for anyway. So now you got resin art, resin supply that I wouldn't break if I were you.
Before we get too carried away, I should say hello to chat. This is a custom on this stream, so hello to JB and to Rotten Corpse and to Kivadam and Mike R and Finnick, and I think that's everyone. If I missed you, let me know. Oh,
hey Hammer.
There is Hammer.
Rumors of my demise are illegitimate.
I didn't say about demise. I said that you were coming close to breaking, your contract with Eve.
So yes, hopefully Hammer will recover quickly. Yes. It is no fun having a friend in hospital, so hopefully he'll stop hitting on the nurses and start getting better.
Well, Hammer's that's not even true. Hammer's not. You only want Hammer to get better so you don't have to host anymore. I know. I'm one of you.
Oh yeah. No, you're not wrong, Tier, but at the same time, you're not wrong.
Well, no, I mean he's not wrong, but I always have the great weapon which I will inflict upon you.
Oh God, no!
Window, there it is. I have the great weapon of the Pokemon articles, and this week's Pokemon is Alcremie or Alcremie.
Oh,
however you want to pronounce that.
Oh God, Jesus Christ!
Now, the Smogon fans may have noticed that I'm skipping IPOM. This is because there is no article on IPOM, so we go straight to Alcremie.
Yay!
So, does Alcremie come with like a coffee?
She evolved to Al Coffee.
You should be thanking me, T. You don't have to hear about IPOM.
That's true. I don't like Alpalm either.
Good. So here we have a picture of Alcremie. You can see from the color of these lines that its stats are very bad, and that its tier is ZUBL, which is almost as bad as it's possible to be. So this is not a good Pokemon. Anyway, they've given it Palm Mind, Acid Armor, Draining Kiss, Stored Power, either the Leftovers or the Grassy Seed. Aroma Veil is the ability, a Bold Nature, 252 hit points EVs, 192 defense EVs, 64 speed EVs, and Terra into either Poison or Steel. So that's just laying the groundwork for what's coming ahead. You are now freed from the article as soon as I figure out.
Yay! Here, I found something that it's only like 3 minutes. It's easy to show. I think you'll like it, Terry.
All right.
Hope you feel better, Hammer. I still have this mental image of you hopping around the hospital looking like Pepe Le Pew chasing the nurses, though.
It's amazing, isn't it? Oh no.
Lol.
Well, that's obviously Pokemon.
I'm going to assume that's Sabrina.
It looks like shit. Yeah.
Yep. It gets worse. Frosted is kangaroo fruit by Anteater.
Cool.
Hey, I'll call you back, okay? I just got in.
Well,
I thought you'd like
that
that.
was an experience. That was a thing that happened. It was cool, but yes, I echo the sentiments in chat of what the fuck am I looking at?
Yeah, like I get what they're going for, but yeah.
It was supposed to be a darker version of Pokemon, yeah. And since you broke Alcremie, I brought this.
Fair enough. Fair is fair.
It's not that I couldn't see that. It's just AI. AI doesn't put detail into things the way it should because people don't put prompts into the AI.
I don't think that was AI. I think that was traditional animation.
Well, they didn't study their Pokemon very well.
Well, yeah.
I mean, they looked close enough. We knew they were talking about Pokemon. It's just I don't even know all the characters that you two know because like I stopped after a certain. You know, like it's once you get to a certain level of how many there are, you're like, okay, I lost interest. But
it's about what 1,000 now.
At least.
Did you hear? Yeah, fucking weeps. Did you hear? They're making a live action Zelda movie.
Yeah, and I saw the characters, and I gotta disagree with some of the guys who were like, "Yay!" Yeah, I'm glad they didn't go with the tranny. Sorry, LGBT, but I'm tired of insert your bullshit everywhere. I don't give a shit. That's my firm belief there. The guy who's supposed to play Link doesn't look like Link.
No, I'm going to take the I forget who I was listening to say this.
Does he have to? No, I'm just like.
I'm going to mirror Yellow Flash's take on it. Link says absolutely, positively, fucking no, not Yellow Flash's Temples says next to fucking nothing. How are you going to make a movie about a character that's mute the entire time?
They could, but that's probably why I'm going to be a little bit, and I'm not meaning to be mean to the actor. You really have to pick somebody who can do silent charisma.
Well, I think you're both missing the point. Do you not remember the Zelda cartoon that was on?
Well, excuse me, princess.
That's the one. He was not silent in that cartoon. He doesn't have to be silent in the movie.
I still don't want to look at it. I'm tired of live action remakes. I'm tired of live action adaptations. I'm tired of live action every fucking thing. Go ahead.
No, I don't think live action is the problem. Stop making remakes full stop. We don't need them.
Or stop making adaptations of video games into movies. I didn't like the Pokemon the Pokemon Detective Pikachu movie. I didn't like the fucking Mario movie because that wasn't fucking Princess Peach. That was fucking Princess Daisy.
Yeah. No, I think the more to the point, just stop remaking things. I've almost never seen a good remake. And when you do remake something, don't remake something that people already loved. Do it like they did with Scarface, where like nobody knew the original. So when they remade it with Al Pacino, there's like a new chance to bring this to people that like had forgotten it, like they didn't know about it. Don't say.
I gotta break it to you too, though. A lot of these remakes, some of them they're actually trying to do for the kids, and that's where I kind of get where they're going with it. I just wish they'd stop destroying them, because I think the kids would like the original ones too.
Well, that's my point is just show them the originals. The originals are still popular. You don't have to make a shitty version for kids. You can just show them the already good version
the original
that still exists.
Basically. Yes. I mean, I wouldn't even have minded if they had done a remake, if it was just live action, if they just followed the original. Like, I don't expect it to be perfect. I was a kid too. I remember the first two or three Ninja Turtles movies being a little bit campy. But I didn't give a shit because they were actually okay movies. Like the story that was involved in the movie was what mattered.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I think my problem is like they're digging up the past. Like there was no reason to do like the Final Fantasy VII remake. Like that like the original still exists. Don't make a shitty new version. Just let people play the old one. Remaking like The Lion King, the old one still exists. We don't need a shitty modern day version. Like all the things that they're remaking, they don't need to remake them. Just make new things and let the old things stay.
Well, the Final Fantasy I understood because it was kind of, I blame Crisis Core. I do, because a lot of people really liked the aesthetics of Crisis Core, and they were like, they wanted to see Final Fantasy with Crisis Core aesthetics. They didn't get that either.
The problem is that instead of giving us a 1-for-1 remake of the remaster of the game, updated graphics, they use the word remaster and remake to obfuscate the fact that it's a brand new story, a brand new game, and nobody fucking wanted that.
And that's what I have a problem with. It's the switch bait and this is the project that we think you're going to get, but that's not what we've made at all. That stuff is, I'm with you, Terry. Like, if you're not going to do it justice, don't bother.
No, but like, I don't think they should have done a 1-for-1 remake of the original Final Fantasy VII either. Mm-hmm. The Final Fantasy VII game still exists. Like, maybe re-release it. Maybe like if you've got the PlayStation, what are they up to, 5 now? If you want to have
27
Final Fantasy VII. Re-released for the PlayStation 5 so that new audiences have access to it and they don't have to pirate it. Sure, do that. I mean, that's what Nintendo does with all their Super Nintendo and NES games. Like, if you get a Switch, you can just play all the old Nintendo games legitimately.
Mr. Yes, the live action Sonic was a good movie. No, it wasn't. See the problem, the same problem I have with the live action Sonic movie, the same problem I had with the quote unquote Monster Hunter movie. It was an isekai story, and those aren't isekais. The Monster Hunter is what would be better? A character that already exists in that world, living in that world, who is a part of that world, going to do. Showing us the world through their eyes, a young hunter becoming an adult, and hunting down a mediocre monster that would be leagues above his pay grade. Then you got Sonic, where he's transported to our world, which makes no fucking sense. Oh well, he's gonna have all his powers, but he's gonna be in our world. What?
It's also, sorry, I don't mean to keep interrupting you, Terry. When it comes to the anime, it is very rare what they got with One Piece. Mm-hmm. I haven't watched One Piece, but everybody that I've heard speak of the show has given them credit for what they've managed to do. Is it going to be 1-for-1 like the anime? Not possible. Okay? Anime just does things that you can't do in real life. That's just how it is.
Yeah,
but my understanding is what they've presented has been liked by the fans, and that's actually where I'm at. Because you can't really. A lot of anime just doesn't translate.
Well, you also got to remember something really quickly, Jen. The person remaking it is a fan of the product, and take the Cowboy Bebop live action. They changed too much to be PC or not.
Tell you what was funny about that? The only character that I thought was kind of cool with me was the black guy, because he was just an actor working for them. Like, I know he said stuff too, because like you have to promote your movie and stuff. But I'm like, okay, I get it. You had to diversify somebody. At least if he can pull off the character, I'm not as cheesed about it.
Right? But see, the problem is, all right, the main character. There's a reason why the main character in the anime is this 20-something kid who has seen so much that he's world weary. Is the guy that played Jason Cho, who played Sulu in the Star Trek remake, Star Trek 2019 or whatever the fuck that one was called, played Sulu. Him being a 40-year-old man who is trying to play this kid. It doesn't fucking work. And then you took all the sex appeal from Faye Valentine, who used her sex appeal to get what she wanted, essentially. And then you have Black Jet Black. No, there is a reason to these characters existing and looking like they did. Shit, Ed was annoying. Again, is when you don't have fans of a product making this product. Oh, well, they'll just like whatever we give them. No, the fuck we won't.
Well, that's what seems to be the rarity. Like, somehow, some way, every time they do a new project, you're lucky if you've got a couple people on the project that were actually fans of it. And I don't mind if it's just a new fan, because that happens. Like I became a new fan of Game of Thrones last year. Because I was like, well, the whole thing is as done as it's going to be unless he releases more. So, at this point,
he ain't never releasing the Winds of Winter anytime soon. He'll be dead by the time that releases.
But I was kind of glad that I did, because like the more I got into it, the more I blame a lot of the end of Game of Thrones for a lot of problems we have today. Because it wasn't a bad show, but like the minute they gave up on it, it became a shit show.
Well, it's not even that. It was the minute that they outpay. All right, so they lacked the writer. He didn't write an ending for that series. Technically, that series has no ending currently, and they needed to end the show. Problem is, they fucking can't write.
They also it's this disease that they've been inserting for the last 20 years where they need to hype up certain characters and tear down other characters so that they can have their feminist motive. And I'm actually, I have to tell them, like, they actually destroyed some of the female characters in Game of Thrones doing that.
Or they destroyed with the, all right, it was either supposed to be Jon Snow, that it was literally supposed to be Jon Snow that killed the Night King. It's playing up that it's Jon Snow that does the deed. They gave it to Arya, and then they made Bran the Broken King. Do y'all not understand the concept of we already had a succession crisis, and now we're going to make another succession crisis?
It's not just that tier. It was throughout the whole show. Like there's certain parts where they already had female characters.
Yes,
but because they didn't want to, create a new character or actually invest in that story, they hyped up other characters, and it did tear down the rest of the story because they had to do that. It's not just Arya. Like there's a whole scene in I get their desert countries confused because there's too many of those, but the one at the bottom of Westeros, there's a whole female character that should have been the next leader. She was more legitimate than any other person in that country. And by their own rules, she would have ruled, because they didn't have the issue of they need to be a male. Like not every country in this story has those beliefs. But they just didn't even write her in, because they wanted to create this scene where they wanted to recreate why they were going to kill off a character. I understand sometimes they're running on a budget, but sometimes when you're running on a budget, you should go with some of the original story.
Rotten says he got halfway through reading. Rotten, George R. Martin started to huff his own farts. And if you look at like A Song of Fire and Ice and compare it to what he gave us in the Game of Thrones, you can clearly tell he digressed into being, I can just shit out whatever and they'll eat it up.
Basically.
And he gave up creative control over. He could have written the ending in the time frame that he had between the end of the series and he could have written it ended, and he could also step in and gave them a unique ending. He said, "Go right ahead, make an ending for it. I don't care." He's never going to come out with that last. That last book is going to be forever.
Man, I warned you about dying. You're not allowed to do that.
Sorry. Somehow my mic is still picking that up. Oh, I think I know what's going on.
That book will be forever in waiting.
Like I like the world he created more than the full out story, and I think that's what a lot of people get from that, because he is taking a lot of inspiration from other writers. Like he's admitted to it. No shade. I'm not shading him for it. But like the more you realize that he hasn't completed his own world, the more I was like, okay, I see where the problems are. But that's kind of where humans like it though, Terry. Like every series that I've gotten into where I really liked it, it was because it was open enough that you could fill in your own gaps if you wanted to. People like doing that.
Again,
I'm just going to just chat quickly. Kividan says, so news topics. You want news topics? Get Hammer out of hospital. That's your job. That's your job for next week.
I
Mad
I did
Hammer.
think
I
about
want it.
news topics, but I was like, the only stuff I've been following is like YouTuber drama with Twitch.
Oh yeah,
The only stuff I've been
haven't
following
paying
is.
attention to the news either.
I'm going to say this again. I'm going to continue to say this. I think Trump Amber Heard the bid on that Epstein shit.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. I could be obsessed with that. I am disappointed, just like everybody else. But here's the thing: that doesn't mean that we don't stop looking at them and being like, "Yeah, there's a fucking list. Shut up."
We know there's a list. We know there's a, not only we know there's a list. We also know we have a good idea who's on the list.
I'm also not so stupid that I can't think of a lot of reasons why they might not be able to really just release that list, even though I think it's stupid. And the thing is that island was an international trap for high-end people.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, if they release that list, it's not just Americans that you're looking at. It's international people.
Oh,
I still want to go after them. But realistically, just because I want to go after them doesn't mean we can.
All right, I get it. It's all right. If releasing the list would burn down the planet, then I'm all for letting it burn, because we know there's British royals on that list.
Mm-hmm.
There is
Europeans. There's Canadians.
There's Canadians. There's fucking businessmen. Granted, I haven't seen the list. This is an allegation, speculation and whatnot. Cover my ass. Oprah's on that list.
I also am not so stupid to think that everybody who was there was necessarily pedo touching, because the thing with that kind of a list, they're businessmen. They're there to do business.
Yeah.
Do I think a lot of them were, and do I want them to be in a wood chipper? Sorry, Terry. Yes.
I actually saw a good theory on that where they were saying if Epstein was smart, and he seems like he was, what he'd do is have 4 pedo parties and then have one non-pedo party, invite the same pedos to the non-pedo party, but also invite a bunch of innocent people, so that when the list comes out, it's like, well, it says here, Tier Alexander was at one of Epstein's parties. It was the non-pedo party, but they don't tell people that part.
People won't have the people. Yeah, they won't have the contacts. Again.
Yeah. So that's why I think Trump was saying he doesn't want innocents to get hurt. It's not just the victims. He thinks, and this is like speculation, but he doesn't want. He thinks Epstein probably did do that, and that there's a bunch of innocent people on the list because of the 1 out of 5 non-pedo parties to implicate innocent people to protect themselves from being outed.
Well, we know. Hold on really quick, Jack. Well, we know we have the flight logs, right? And we know that Trump was on the flight logs. However, it said from like Florida to New York.
Yeah.
Now,
sorry.
People, if say it was explained that if you have a private jet, you need to go somewhere really quickly. Oh, I'm going to New York. I'll give you a ride, essentially, on the plane.
Yeah.
So that's what that is. Now we know that Bill Clinton went on to St. James 14 billion times. We have it on the list in his destination. So I get it.
It's kind of, I know it's a different story, but it's the same idea.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people knew about the Diddy thing. Like Eminem was pretty much trying to sing about it to the best of his degree. Yeah, you should look into this guy. But just because you knew about it doesn't mean you can just say something, because sometimes it's harder to get enough evidence to prove that what you're saying is true, even if you know it is.
And what's worse is that if you make the accusation too early when you don't have the proof, then it makes them look extra innocent. Like it makes them look like they've already beaten the charge when it was just not proven that they were guilty. So if you fire too early and you don't have the evidence to back you up, then you make it look like they're innocent and you're attacking them for no reason, and that further protects them, which is not
shit. Who was saying 50 was talking about that shit in his music. He was trying to get that shit out. And who else was talking about that shit in their music, trying to get it? Everybody believed that Usher touched Justin. And he got passed around.
I don't know any of the details around that.
It's rumored to.
Justin denies it, but it's just one of those things where I'm like, I'm sorry, kid. Whatever the hell it is they did to you, it's noticeable. Like,
Shit.
Maybe it is just being surrounded by scummy people. I don't know, but it's noticeable.
Shit. Corey Feldman and the Coreys tell stories about how, as kids they passed us around.
Yeah,
It's not just the Corey that's living; it's the amount of people.
Yeah,
that have
Corey Feldman.
No, I'm talking about the other Corey, the one that offed himself.
Yeah, the Coreys.
Mm-hmm. It's not just him. Like, when you look into the list of, like, not all of them, I think, were done in by that. Like, sometimes it is just losing your ability to act, but a lot of times you're like, I don't know, kid. Especially a lot of the Disney kids.
I agree with Frosted Glass. Maybe instead of saying about it, you call the cops. Agreed. That's the issue I had. No offense, but that's the same issue I had with the women that accused Bill Cosby of doing shit to him. You didn't go to the cops. If you believe something happened and you got proof and backup, I went to the cops about this shit. Okay, I guess it happened. Or it happened as you say.
Well, at the very least, it's more likely to have happened if they went to the police.
Yeah,
like people still make false claims to the police, but if you went to the police immediately after you claim that it happened, you've got a lot more plausibility to your accusation than if you make the accusation 20 years down the line.
JB, they should go to the cop, but people, I get it. And people are proud, especially a male. Male victims don't come forward often because the connotations of it.
It's also how you were raised. Like, I'm a little bit. If I hurt myself, I will get my brother to check. He's right there. Vice versa. Like, if I thought that a guy did something inappropriate, I would. If I didn't go straight to the cops, I would get him to check anyway because he worked in security. Be like, is this something worth pursuing? And if it was, I would. I would take it to the cops because I have proof. But it's one of those things where not everything is worth pursuing. Like, sometimes it's better to brush it off. Unless you actually think the guy's like a psychopath, I might not pursue it because it could just be an asshole. A lot of guys are just in a bad mood too. Kind of like women. Sometimes they're just in a shitty mood. But I would just document it because that's what you're supposed to do. If you think that there was something wrong, you document it. I went to my brother. If he thought there was something he should take a picture of, he would have taken a picture of it, And he did work in security. So I know I'm leaning on him for his advice, but.
I mean, that's the number one advice for everybody, that if something happens, go to the police.
Like, he's still in a position of talking to police, But yeah, like I have stories that I keep on my map, my mental map. Like, if I had to go out late at night or something, which I don't do anymore, I've gotten to the age of being too spooked by that. But still, I had spots that I could stop by. Like, I think this guy's following me. Can I just sit here for a minute and just in case I need to use a phone?
Just to see.
And absolutely. Never got turned down. Ever. And sometimes it's just somebody walking behind you. So you can't help it at night being creeped out if somebody's walking behind you. So I'm like, I'll just buy a Coke from the Max. Wait a little longer.
Just sit there. Hopefully they walk by. If they follow you, they'll stop and you'll notice. You say something. They're not. They just going about your business.
I do understand that we've grown up in a society that's more terrified. And that's because we know more. Like, it's so easy to find out about horrible things that go on in this world. And I don't mind that. Like, I'm glad that I know about it. So at least I have something to warn me, But I don't think every man is a man. I don't think every man is a bear in the woods feminist. Sorry. I think some people have problems and issues and they're, maybe should be in jail, but that's not the majority of the population.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, it goes the same in both directions. Obviously, not all women are terrible. As much as I like to joke about the fact that they are, and as much as it annoys Keith and I do, obviously women are not unilaterally terrible. They're just are a few bad ones and plenty of good ones, but it's
just like there are good men, there are bad men. Just as there are good women, there are bad women.
There's no good men. I've been assured of this fact by feminists. They would rather live in the woods with a bear, and they would be safer.
For stats I've never looked into, but I wouldn't be surprised if I wasn't right. I wouldn't be at all surprised if the conceal and carry states have less sexual assault too, because if you know she's packing, you're a little less likely to be handsy.
And the funny thing is that works regardless of what she's packing. She could be packing extra downstairs or in her holster. Either way, it's going to deter sexual predators.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never understood that about the Democrats. I'm like, so you just think you could teach people to not be bad people? We've been trying to do that for like the beginning of humanity. It hasn't worked. We've tried torture. We've tried starving. We've tried killing people out. It doesn't work.
I know. I think it works. It's just doesn't work on everyone. There's always going to be some people who are just unhelpable. They're always going to be doing the wrong thing. They're always going to be nasty or evil, or however you want to phrase it.
Yeah.
There's always going to be that segment of people. But by and large, I think humanity is considerably better than it used to be in terms of morality.
I still don't know of a time zone that I'd like to travel back to that isn't within my own lifetime.
Exactly.
And even then, I don't want to stay. It's just to like enjoy that time period as an adult.
I think I would go back to the 1990s, and I would play my Super Nintendo against myself, and I would get good at fighting games back then.
You would get good scrub,
and then I would have an advantage now. That's my plan.
You would go back in time to get good.
Yes, exactly. And Mike R says, I have way too much faith in humanity. It's not that I have faith in humanity. I have faith in social pressure, forcing people to abide by certain rules. Like, obviously, if you just say free reign, do whatever you want, there's going to be a bunch of people doing a bunch of shit. But if you say, here's the rules, if you do this thing, we will put you in a cage for 10 years, most people will be like, then I'm not going to do the thing. Some people will be like, fuck it, I'm going to take the chance, I'm still going to do the thing. But a lot of people are going to be like, I don't want to spend 10 years in a cage. I'm not going to do the thing. Yep. And so over time, we've built up a system where people are incentivized to go against their base desires because the penalties for following them are severe enough that their new self-interest is, hey, I don't want to get put in a cage, or I don't want to give the government a whole bunch of money from being fined, or whatever the penalty ends up being.
I
don't want to pay my government shit.
Yeah. It's also that as a society, it's not that we can't kind of see things a little bit more now too. I've been saying the last week that I think the internet is still one of the things that our overlords still resent us for the most, because you can kind of see where we have problems. Like, okay, let's pick on some parts of the US. You have a bigger population. You have an anger problem. Like, I would say we have it too, but we have a smaller population. So when we have spout outs, it's more funny. But when you see it in the US, and yeah, I'm picking on the girl who murdered her manager. It's an anger issue. Like, it's kind of a little bit of a truth that, like, you could have just quit. Like, I get being stressed. You know, I hate looking for a new job too. Like, this market still sucks.
Oh, so,
you know, but like, I was raised in an era where, like, you know, in all honesty, if you're stressed with this person, just walk away. Like, why do you need to go to fisticuffs? If it's something you can address, well, you would have addressed it already, because you can take most things to an authority, you know, and get somewhere with it, maybe, you know. And if you can't, then that's usually when you're like, okay, well, I'll just go somewhere else. There's nothing that, sorry, Terry,
I think Frosted is onto something. He says, if only there was a way to stop 50% of crime and only affect a small percentage of the population. I'm guessing you could get away with only affecting maybe 13% is my estimate.
Yeah.
An eighth. There's like 7/8 of the population is good, and then there's that 13% that we don't talk about.
See, you say that, but those stats probably would have changed if they were being honest about a lot of those like college fits over the last 4 or 5 years, because those were white kids, and they should have seen some. They should have seen some things, because they actually did do destruction to a property.
Well, I think it's more cultural than genetic. I don't think black people are predisposed to crime. I think black culture predisposes people towards crime, as in the crime in those areas that have high black crime. The culture in those areas is what facilitates the crime. I don't think people are born with slightly more melanin and then that makes them evil and crime ridden. No, it's just the culture that they're growing up in predisposes them to certain attitudes and activities that are criminal, that we don't want people to be engaging in. And Frosted Glass says single mothers. Absolutely.
Yes.
That's a big part of the problem.
Well, see, the problem is, and also in entitlement, we infantilize a group of people. Oh, well, it's never your fault, no matter what you do. It's always someone else's fault. And because it's someone else's fault, you are justified in doing whatever you need to make sure that you get what you need. Again, it's someone else's fault.
It probably doesn't hurt. And I know people come back to this one a lot too. The fatherlessness thing is bad too, because it is kind of true that all it takes is a word from a dad for little boys to just kind of perk up and listen.
Or right? No, I want to counter that. I don't think it is a fatherlessness issue, but no, it's more of it's a male without a male figure.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I think that men, by being more physically imposing, have a way of instilling discipline in kids that women just don't.
Yeah. Like, I grew up with my grandfather and my uncles alongside being raised by my mother. My father was in my life, but I knew more of my grandfather and my uncles. Yeah. And my grandfather was a old school disciplinarian.
I'm not pointing fingers at the single moms tier, because I do mean both, actually. I'm not, because it's both sides of the coin. Sometimes the dad really did go out for milk and didn't come back. Well, sometimes the dad was kind of like Will Smith's dad in Fresh Prince, and he was a piece of shit.
No. But when people say it's the single mother problem, it's because the women are the ones raising the kids. Obviously, the men are at fault if they're abandoning their kids. That's a terrible thing to do and should utterly be condemned.
And it's not always that either. We're not saying that either.
well, it's also, Tara, you said it before. Men control relationships, women control sex. It is that women believe that by trapping a man with a child, he will stay with her instead of finding a man to be with her and then giving him kids, because he's proven that he will be with you. He's in it for the long haul.
But but what I was saying is the reason people point to single mothers is because they're the ones that are raising the kids, and raising a child in a fatherless home leads to negative outcomes for that child. It's just statistically shown that it's a terrible situation to grow up in. And so, yes, the fathers who are abandoning their kids are absolute pieces of shit. I'm not saying the men are like completely clean in this. I'm saying the women are the ones raising the kids, and that's why they're the ones that have the fingers pointed at them, because they're the ones directly influencing the kids.
I also want to point out another factor, because there are those fathers that want to be in their child's life, but you have mothers who are vindictive pieces of shit.
Yeah. I didn't want to leave them out. Like I only address both, because sometimes everyone points fingers at the single moms, and no, I do remember some stories where I was more on her side than his side, but I've heard both sides of the story. Like I've seen stories where the guy does everything he can to be with his kid, everything.
Oh yeah. No, that happens a lot.
You know, and I'm on his side. You know, it's sometimes the world is just more complicated than one side versus the other side. It just doesn't work like that.
My point. Well, that was my point. Is that like both sides? Like, if a man is abandoning his kids, that's terrible. If a woman is deliberately shutting out the father, that's terrible. But the reason fingers are pointed at single mothers and not the people abandoning their kids is because the single mothers are the ones raising the children, and they're ill-equipped to do the job alone.
They also there's a trend in. I see this in your community a lot, Tier. I know that some of the white women are going down that route too.
Mm-hmm.
But like when I think of your mom's situation, I'm happy that she had good role models for you to grow up with, because that's the thing. Women, okay, say your relationship didn't work out. Shit happens. Mm-hmm. Hey, sometimes the guy didn't even live. You know, I don't want to throw out like sometimes, you know, a partner dies and it's just, you know, you're screwed. You know, you're now stuck doing what you can.
My mom and dad were, even though they weren't together, my mom called her, her best friend. Like they literally tried to work together for me. So I knew my father. I met my father and we hung out quite frequently in my youth. You know, so I can't just say he wasn't in my life, and he did provide when I needed it. She was wise enough. She was both wise enough, and you know, I may not want to be with you, but I know that he needs you.
Yeah.
Let's work together.
I mean, that was similar for me. My parents got divorced when I was 2. I don't know exactly what age I was, but I was very young. Mm-hmm. And but my dad was always in my life because my mum knew that that's important. So she maintained a positive relationship with my dad. Even if they weren't like married anymore, they didn't hate each other.
Or if they didn't openly show it toward you.
So no. Like they definitely didn't hate each other, because even after I became an adult, mm-hmm. like I would have picked up if they were like secretly hating each other and keeping it from me. But like no, they got along. They weren't like best friends or anything, but there was no animosity between them.
Well, that's kind of the thing. Like, that's what I grew up with when I would think about divorce in the 80s and the 90s. Mm-hmm. But now when I think of divorce, like, there's so many, and I get this from watching too many videos based off of the CPS shit. There are so many women who have no problems letting a complete stranger into their kid's life. And that's where I have an issue, because kids deserve to have what you had. And you know, I don't think mom should be alone for life. You know, it didn't work out with dad, but fair enough. You know, you can move on with your life, but at least do the decency of trying to figure out who you're letting into your life and who you're letting into your kid's life. Because
well, I think the second part is more important. I think who you let into your kid's life is very, very important. Don't hook up with a guy once and say, "Here's your new dad, Billy." No. Wait until you know something serious there, then introduce the kid.
The same goes for men too. If you're gonna introduce somebody new to your kid's life, I'm on Twitter. I was watching this short of this woman. She just making slop for her stepchild. She said, you know, here's me making dinner for a kid I never wanted, a stepchild I never wanted.
That's rough. Don't say.
And just making slop, like, you know, just making Vienna sausage, like took SpaghettiOs straight up the can and dropped on a plate, and mashed up some Vienna sausages into the SpaghettiOs and like dinner. Like, no, you knew full well coming in, he had a child and that he came with the child. It was a package deal. If you're going to be with him, you're going to be with the kid.
And Frosted, just quickly, he says that his guess is that after I was born, my dad left because he thought my mom had an affair with Sargon and V. Like obviously, he's referring to his theory that I'm actually the child of Sargon and V having an illicit affair. Because
when you see your face, I'm going to confirm this.
I have shown my face before.
I haven't seen it.
I can't show my face now because this computer doesn't have a webcam. I would have to go over to the laptop to do a face reveal, and I don't think there's enough demand for like mental trauma.
I want to see what the hell you look like.
But no, but the real reason is simply that my dad was sick. That's all it was. Is my dad had kidney problems, and my mum didn't want to be with someone that was going to spend his entire life on a dialysis machine. So yeah, put too much pressure on the relationship, and it fell apart.
I mean, but that's normal.
It's one of those things where, like, when you're on the other side, and I only know this because of a friend who had parents in a similar situation. They always feel like shit for doing it, but it's just when they see their partner all wired up like that, they can't handle it.
Mm-hmm. I remember. Oh,
yeah. No, you're good.
I was about to say, I remember a story where this guy was sick and he was terminally dying. So he divorced his wife. Like, they've been together for like ages. He divorced his wife. And he goes, why? Don't you love her? Like, yeah, I still love her. I just don't want her to be saddled with my debt when I die.
Well, there you go.
Like, when I die, she doesn't have to deal with my medical debt. It'll be gone. I'm dead.
And since there's only 10 minutes left, and I think the audience is definitely clamoring to learn more, we didn't actually talk that much about Alcremie. So I will introduce
that's college dude food tier. You used to make me the exact same thing all the time. No, there's a huge difference between college food and flipping food for a child, a little kid.
Speaking of food, here is a Pokemon that is based on food.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
As you can see, this here is Alcremie and is based on milk cream. And this is the Double Dance set, and this is the one that I was referring to in the stream title. It says, Alcremie faces competition from fairy types like Florges and Grimmsnarl, but its access to Acid Armor, Stab Draining Kiss for recovery, and Stored Power keeps it relevant as a bulky setup sweeper. Draining Kiss is good for additional staying power against very weak Pokemon like Pawmot and Wo-Chen. Stored Power deals with fire and poison types like Hisuian Typhlosion, which they've misspelled. How do you misspell Typhlosion? That is unacceptable. And Venusaur. And it's preferred
10 out of 10. We'll not read again.
Yeah. And it's preferred over Psyshock since it does more damage to steel types like Alolan Sandslash and Orthworm. Aroma Veil protects Alcremie from the heal blocking of Psychic Noise from Florges or Uxie, and lets it continue using Draining Kiss, and it allows Alcremie to set up in the face of Encore users like Whimsicott and Uxie, as well as Taunt users like Grimmsnarl and Hisuian Electrode. I'm amazed. That is extremely impressive. Every Pokemon should have Aroma Veil. That is quite a phenomenal ability. And I think we can leave it there. I don't want to overwhelm you with valuable knowledge. You need to take this thing in doses. You need to sort of have time to absorb what you've just heard and internalize it. So you go out and use that information as best you can, and I think you can thank me later.
Can we put in a request for next week's reading?
No,
we're gonna read. Damn.
I'm doing them in order. So, like I said, I skipped Ipon because there's not actually an article. So next week will be Alomomola, assuming that they've written. Yep, they've written about Alomomola. So there you go. That will be next week's Pokemon.
Can we get a poll in the chat?
From memory, was it Houndstone was the one you wanted, right?
Houndoom.
Oh, Houndoom. Okay, I knew it was something with a hound. Houndoom, the Dark Fire one.
Mm-hmm. Or Gengar.
There's not actually anything to read, unfortunately. So there you go. I gave it a chance, but there is no information. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen anyway. It says this is a sample set. Stay tuned for future updates. So there's not actually anything for me to read beyond that, I'm afraid.
Oh, why does everybody hate my favorite Pokemon?
Because it's not in Gen 9. That's why.
It is in Gen 9.
Nope, Houndoom is not in Gen 9 because the only article on it is, or maybe it is, but it's not viable in anything.
I feel like I should be a troll and share something. Oh, not my face.
Not
my face. That was horrible because I'm not like set up for that. No, I was gonna share something from.
But no, just to clarify, Thierry's right. Houndoom is in Gen 9, but it's not viable in anything. So even in ZU, the lowest tier, no one actually uses Houndoom. So the only format that it can be used in any capacity is National Dex RU, which is yes, not even worth.
If Frothy Glass, if they keep treating Pokemon like they do, it is going to die.
Yeah, no.
I just figured if you're going to read off Pokemon characters, I should share with you a Pal World character.
Yeah,
I didn't realize. I didn't realize you had that. Sorry. Yes.
You're good.
Yes. This is what Jen is sharing. Lovander. Now, I don't know anything about Pal World. I've never played it, but I do know that it is heavily inspired by Pokemon.
Yeah, seeking love at night. It's always chasing someone around. At first, it only showed interest in other pals, but in recent years, even humans have become the target of debauchery.
Oh my!
So you hear that, Jack? There's someone out there for you.
Yeah, Lavander is a tall, three-fingered, three-toed, anthropomorphic salamander-like pal with a predominantly pink palette. It has a hot pink heart-shaped patch of fur across its chest with another heart covering its other regions. Yeah, it's covered down there. It appears to be wearing a hot pink veil and two scrunches over its wrist and a pair of coattails. Okay. Behavior.
So, just
They're
quickly,
aggressive.
Gunsky says that Impmon is his favorite. I don't know if that's a thing in Pal World or if he's just making shit up. But if it's real, that's his favorite pal.
That's I thought. Oh, okay. I thought that was a Pokemon. No, I thought that was a Digimon.
Digimon, digital monsters.
Well, it's definitely not a Pokemon.
Yeah. These used to be a good first team.
But yes.
Yes. Thank you, Terry.
No problem.
I mean, you educated me on Pal World. I educated you on Pokemon. I think this is a fair exchange.
Well, I just thought you should know the difference between pals and Pokemon. Mm-hmm. You can give a Lavander a gun.
Oh shit!
You know, some of the ridiculous dinosaur dragons that they've invented that don't look at all like dragons. They have missile launchers.
Oh god damn! Never gotten. Q said she never got into Digimon. Only Pokemon.
Yeah, that's because Six was saying that he's seen Digimon, which is not the same thing. Which is true. But Digimon is different.
Yes. Digimon is different, but Digimon, I would say Digimon is just as famous as Pokemon.
Probably not. I don't think it is.
Digimon only got to rib Pokemon because it was kind of like flat out the Digimon could talk, so you could just ask them.
Well, the one of the main difference from Digimon is that you only had one. Each person only had one mon, like one Digimon. Mm-hmm. So their strength would be amazing. And Tari, think of it this way: if we were playing Smash Up, which we're going to play later tonight, if we want to play, we're playing Smash Up. Itty bitty creatures. If they were fighting fucking what is it? Cyber apes. Like I'm just talking about legitimately fighting cyber apes.
Right.
They would get their ass handed to them.
Yeah.
Digimon versus Pokemon.
Well, I mean, I don't know anything about Digimon.
And there are a lot more gods in that universe.
I've heard of Digimon, but I've never looked into it. I don't know the names of any Digimon. Like if you showed me a Digimon, I wouldn't identify it as a Digimon. I would just be like, Probably that's a cool creature. What is it? But I wouldn't know that it came from Digimon.
Warguruma.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's cool. I mean, if it's based on like even loosely based on Pokemon, I probably would find it interesting.
You might like it. At least the first couple seasons.
Yeah.
Even just with the games, it was pretty good.
Yeah. I have no interest in the TV show. But yeah, see, like Wargurumon, yeah. I mean, that looks pretty cool. I could see that being something.
And that's an ultimate. They get power. This is like top level for base Digimon. There are gods, like not one god, gods.
But if there was a game based on Digimon, and I'm pretty sure there is, like a video game. Assuming it was similar to Pokemon, which is maybe it's not.
If you Pokemon detect Cyber Sleuth.
Yes, I've got Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Complete Edition. I have not played it, but yeah, I do own it. So assuming that it's similar to Pokemon, I would probably enjoy Digimon, assuming that it's similar to Pokemon. I'm just more familiar with Pokemon because I've been, following it for decades at this point.
That was actually
side
note on that one. Like I know you said you're not going to watch the show, which fair enough. But my memories of the show itself, the other reason some kids liked the Digimon better was some of the jokes were sometimes a little bit more spicy than Pokemon. Like they weren't like adult naughty, but you would get the odd chuckle where you're like, okay,
they didn't treat you like a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, I'm not going to watch a TV show based on it. I didn't really pay much attention to the Pokemon anime either.
It's still a cartoon for kids. Like even if I look back at it now, it's still like all the jokes are still geared towards kids. They're just more. You're just not treated as much like special needs kids.
On that note, we have hit our time limit, so thank you to chat for learning about Alcremie. And if you want to learn more, there is a website called Smogon, and you can read as much as you desire about all sorts of different Pokemon and their competitive uses. So I wish you luck in that endeavor. Thank you to Jen and Tia for suffering through the Pokemon lore. I'll see you guys later. Do you have any parting words, Jen?
Not really, no. Watch everybody's show. Tomorrow is Johnny Hellcat. Yeah.
And
tomorrow isn't Johnny Hellcat. Tomorrow is the Discord day. Hellcat's on Tuesdays.
Okay.
Do you have parting words, Tia?
I like pain. It hurts Johnny Hellcat.
I agree with that. That is absolutely correct. I will leave it there. See you later, guys. Catch you all next week.
Bye, guys and gals.
See ya.